You are about to see a preview of the most fantastic advance ever to be made in the history of motion picture entertainment, called Hypnovista.
What happens when you take Vincent Price and mix him with a clip compilation video? You get pure awesomeness. This is Creepy Classics from 1987. What separates this from the rest of the pack is that Vincent Price is in it. Also, they use movie clips that are from actually decent movies like Night of the Living Dead and The Raven. I can see why it's called Creepy Classics with Vincent Price. Otherwise, who would buy it if it was just called Creepy Classics? Pretty generic title otherwise. This is the type of video you would see sitting in the bargain bin for $4, or you would rent when you had a free rental or something. Those were the type of purchases that were usually pretty bad. But this one was a rare gem in a sea of bad VHS buys. It has to be said that it's a trailer and clip compilation video. Not a lot of original content was used in the making of this video. The footage that they shot of Vincent Price is of him in a movie theater making jokes about the clips. The Vincent Price footage takes up about 5 minutes of screen time. But even that short amount of time is what makes this worth it. It's Vincent Price. The man is magic on the screen. Oui, je suis un artiste. Vincent Price certainly had a way with words. He is the type of guy who, when he talks about mowing the lawn or buying his groceries, makes it sound fucking epic.
Miraculous. This photo has such realistic depth. It feels as if you're looking into the picture rather than simply at it. I just hold a photo squarely in front of me at a distance of 1.5 to 2 feet, and voila, the scene is alive.
This is where you get the hunch that Vincent Price is phoning it in just for a payday. After all, they only film him sitting in a theater for 5 minutes. Nonetheless, it still has that Vincent Price feel to it. Vincent Price gives a 2-minute-long monologue at the beginning of the video. Here are some of the best clips from that.
Now, where do you suppose they're going? And just when it was getting good. Well, I guess they're not the first audience to leave a horror movie screaming, either from pure terror or from bad acting. You didn't go to observe the subtle application of the thespian art. You went to be scared out of your wits, to eat your popcorn and candy, while you tried to convince your buddies, or if you were lucky, your girlfriend, that you weren't really scared. You were merely shielding your eyes from the bright screen.
So we get to the first weird part of the video. Vincent Price introduces the clip, and it's Michael Landon in a lichen movie?
Lichens. Werewolves.
Some later traded their fangs for stars. Here's one you might recognize, about to have a little howl on the prairie.
Get it? Little Howl on the Prairie? You know, because Michael Landon starred in Little House on the Prairie. Maybe not the most original, but we'll let it slide. People probably know him best from Bonanza, Little House on the Prairie, but I have my own beef to pick with him. I vividly remember having to sit and watch every fucking episode of Highway to Heaven. All I remember is that it was the only show on during the afternoon. Obviously, there were no kid shows on, so my babysitter forced us to watch this shit. I always remember that stupid intro and that guy with the beard, and he always wears a fucking Oakland A's hat. So before he was famous, Michael Landon starred in a werewolf movie? Who'da thunk? So the movie is I Was a Teenage Werewolf. Came out in 1957. So the plot focuses on a teenager who gets a serum from a hypnotherapist, which then turns him into a werewolf. And I thought Teen Wolf was unoriginal. I know this clip is taken out of context, but check it out. Well, that's awkward. I know it's out of context, but seriously, he's standing there watching this girl do weird gymnastics. What is he, Donald Trump? It's just funny to think that years later, Michael Landon would be known for family entertainment, and here we have an example of him leering creepily at people. Forget everything you think you know about werewolf transformations, because I Was a Teenage Werewolf throws all of that out the window. Not only is it daylight, but the simple act of a bell going off is enough to turn this guy into a werewolf. Who needs the full moon, right? As far as the transformation goes, all I'll say is, this ain't no American Werewolf in London. And now that he has turned into a werewolf, one would think that his strength, stamina, and speed would increase. But check out this embarrassing exchange. Wow, real badass. How did he not see those chairs? What the fuck? This is one dopey werewolf. We are then introduced to the running gag of the video. It involves Christopher Lee being menaced by a severed hand. The clips in question are from a movie called Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. It came out in 1965, and it also has Peter Cushing and Donald Sutherland in it. The movie is about 5 strangers on a train who have their fortunes told to them by a tarot card reader. In Christopher Lee's story, we find out that he is an art critic. He eventually runs over a painter who he dislikes. This results in injuries that cause the painter to lose his ability to paint. He then, unfortunately, commits suicide. Thus, that is why the hand comes back for its revenge. We then get a clip from the movie The Raven. In this particular scene, as Vincent Price is leaving the crypt, we hear the words, "Beware," from the coffin. As we cut back to live action, Vincent Price has a priceless line.
Perhaps he was referring to the critics.
So Creepy Classics is about to move into its trailer segment when Vincent Price makes an observation that I think even we today can relate to.
The movie trailers were often as good as the movies, and sometimes a lot better.
The irony is stunning. He just described about 90% of the movies that come out today. So with that, the video is basically done. Vincent Price's contribution to the video is maybe 5 minutes of screen time. If you consider yourself a fan of classic horror, this is at least worth checking out once. I didn't really have a good wrap-up for this, so I'm going to let Vincent Price take it. Till next time.
Well, our feature presentation is about to begin. I hope you've enjoyed our chilling little chat as much as I have. There's nothing like a good shiver to bring people closer. So why not pop a little popcorn, turn out the lights, and enjoy an eerie movie soon. Just make sure there's a hand nearby to hold, preferably with a live body attached to it. Makes you want to stop watering your rhododendron, doesn't it?